Hi and hello, it's me, DJSoulbutter, and I'm back again to do another random musically related top 10. And for this top 10, I will be doing my personal top 10 favorite singers. Now, before diving into that, I'd like to say a quick thank you to all of you who've been watching my videos, following me here on TikTok. It's been really cool to get all the nice messages from people telling me to keep going, they like what I'm doing, and also a lot of people telling me that they're discovering all this new music because of my videos. And also to all the people who've been telling me that my face keeps popping up on their For You page and it's getting kind of annoying. I do apologize for that, but still pretty cool nonetheless. Now, back to this top 10. Again, it is my top 10 favorite singers. And to be perfectly clear, this is not a top 10 of the 10 greatest singers ever, because if I was to do that, I would mention the likes of Whitney Houston, Marvin Gaye, Mariah Carey, maybe Robert Plant, and none of those people are in my top 10. So so yeah, just to be clear, these are just 10 artists that mean a lot to me personally, maybe because of my upbringing, or they just have a huge impact in my life today. So with that being said, let's have some fun. Here we go. At number 10, Father John Misty. And in my opinion, he has an incredibly underrated, booming, soaring voice that is incredibly emotional, incredibly captivating. And the first time I heard him was actually on a Kid Cudi song, Young Lady. And I remember hearing that and thinking, who is this person with this incredibly haunting, repeated refrain on this track? And when I looked him up and I found out who he was, I checked out his debut record, Fear Fun, and I was a fan ever since. I was automatically hooked. And I got to see him live a few years ago as well, and he was just incredible. He doesn't cheat live, if you know what I mean. Just a really great show. And also, if I could just make a recommendation, there's a video on YouTube that you can look up. It's him doing a cover of the song The Suburbs from Arcade Fire. It's just him and his guitar, and it's just really beautiful, really impactful. And his voice has probably been the last voice from the last decade that has really cut me to the core the most. I just find him to be incredibly moving, and I feel like more people should listen to Father John Misty. It's quite cathartic. At number 9, Miss Fat Belly Bella herself, Erykah Badu. And I recently did a retro review of her debut record, Baduism, and on that review I talked about how her voice is very timeless, how it could basically fit in any era of music, and also thinking about her, I wondered to myself, which voice is the defining voice of the neo-soul movement? And obviously you can go with various artists like Jill Scott, Maxwell, D'Angelo, but if I had to pick one, I feel like I'd go with Erykah Badu. Voodoo is still the best neo-soul record, but as far as just being a singer, I think I'm going with Erykah Badu. There's just this gravitational pull when you hear her sing. It's just truly amazing. And I also wish we got more from her as far as lately. I feel like she's kind of disappeared a bit and she's not particularly interested in making new records, but yeah, she's incredible. At number 8, Maynard James Keenan. And as far as metal music is concerned, I would say he probably has the most wide-ranging voice ever in metal history. And I feel like when it comes to his overall output, when it comes to Tool, Pussifer, A Perfect Circle, there's a wide range of delivery that is kind of underappreciated in my opinion. And when I was a teenage DJSoulbutter and I felt like no one understood me, for some reason I felt like Maynard did understand me. And yeah, he's just a generational talent and one of one. At number 7, Amy Mann. And what I'm about to say is going to apply to various other artists that I mentioned in this top 10, but her voice is like a warm blanket. It's comforting, it's lush, it just wraps you around and it's so warm. And I also want to say that Amy Mann is a badass. And this goes all the way back to the 80s when she was the front woman of Till Tuesday. I just feel like people don't recognize just how awesome she is as a person, as an artist, as an innovator. And if you've never listened to her solo record, Lost in Space, put that on the list. I guarantee you, you will not regret it. She's great. And number 6, Stevie Wonder. An absolute icon, an innovator, one of the most important voices in music history, and he's also not blind. I've said this before, we're still not ready to talk about it, but this man is not blind. If you pay attention, to the lyrics of his music closely, those are not the lyrics of a blind person. I'm sorry, I went there. I'm going to keep going there until we all come together and have a real discussion about it. He's amazing, not blind. And this is the part where I'm going to lose a few people and maybe curl up some eyebrows, because at number 5, Sarah Bareilles, one of my personal favorite vocalists of the last 25 years. I just feel like she's incredibly underrated. Do yourself a favor, just for an example. She has a couple live records, but there's one that she does that's just her solo, and she has a live rendition of the song I Just Want You. Listen to that, and you'll see the power of her voice. She's just incredible. I want to see her Broadway play, Waitress. I wish I could see it. I am somewhat embarrassed to admit how much I love her music, because I feel like it's kind of cheesy sometimes, but she's incredible. I love her, and my wife hates that I love her, but it is what it is. At number 4, Chris Cornell. And when we lost Chris Cornell, that was definitely one of those celebrity passings that hit me pretty hard. This was a voice that meant a lot to me growing up. And, you know, when you think about, for example, when he hits the chorus on The Day I Tried to Live, who else is doing that? It was just so powerful and just goosebumps. And I got to see him live a couple times, once with Soundgarden and once with Audioslave as well. And it was just really special. I'm glad I did get to see him. And just one of the most important voices in rock history. Just an absolute legend. At number 3, the Queen, Aretha Franklin. And honestly, you can't really do a top 10 greatest singers of all time, whether you're doing it for your personal tastes like I am right now, or just in general, without mentioning Aretha Franklin. When you think of breath control, when you think of power, when you think of using your gut to let out every single note as powerfully as you possibly can, you can't do it without mentioning Aretha Franklin. And also, if you've never listened to her live record, Live at the Fillmore West, do yourself a favor and listen to it, please, because that's maybe the best example I can give as far as who she was as an artist, how she captivated an audience, and just a true icon, one of the greats, if not the great, and yeah, has to be in the top 10, no matter what. At number 2, Freddie Mercury. His voice soared with the Eagles, maybe one of the most naturally powerful voices in music history, definitely up there. And just to share a quick little funny story, I remember being a little kid and watching an old VHS copy of Queen live with my dad. He's always been a huge fan of Queen, still is to this very day. And I remember in that video, he was wearing these tiny bicycle shorts and a tiny little hat on his head and like a bandana tied around his neck that was also tiny. And my dad going, "That's a man right there." And I was just thinking to myself, okay. And it was also really funny how he was surprised to learn that he was gay. And also, my parents to this day still don't believe Luther Vandross is gay, but whatever. Not that any of that matters. I mean, who cares? But yeah, an absolute icon and just one of the greats. And there's really not much that I could say about Freddie Mercury. Just incredible. And at number 1, Sade. Feel free to say it with me. Sade. Just beauty, grace, romance, comfort. I'm pretty sure Sade taught me what it was like to fall in love before I even knew what love was. And yeah, there aren't many things in this world more beautiful to hear than the singing voice of Sade. I think I'm going to go listen to Sade now. That's all I got to say. I wish I could say more, but I feel like you get it. And if you don't, listen to Sade. Thank you for watching. Peace, love, butter.